If a couple reaches out to both of you, you would take the wife and he would take the husband.
If a person would date someone, they would rather pick the unhealthy person than the healthy person. Why? Because it's familiar to them. It's a safe zone.
Right.
Everything you're seeing outside, if you don't like what you're seeing, you have to change it within.
Even in partners, when a person didn't work on himself, he would attract a partner that would treat him the way he's treating himself.
They're seeing it through their pain. That's usually what's happening, is that you have two, they're not bad, they're just like two little children fighting with each other.
If you accept your role as a man is a supporter, is the foundation of the home.
So it's culture, pressure, fitting in a box. Do I check off the lists what my mother wants me to do?
Now, what would you say to a couple who is living together for fear, for comfort, for social pressure? Okay, today we have an interesting duo, a couple who are both professionals in marriage and personal growth, communication, hypnosis. We will get a perspective from both male and female. Meir and Chavy Greenfeld, welcome to the struggle. Thank you so much for coming in, both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you, thank you. So before we get into everything else, I want to ask you something personal, you know? So how do you guys handle conflict? So if, let's say, something comes up, you have this, because you both know what to do, so your communication is different than a regular communication?
I wouldn't say it's different. I would say it's a proper communication. Meaning to say, if I do something that's inappropriate or that wasn't okay.
Right.
So it's okay if I need to be called out, and I know how to take responsibility for it.
You have no ego.
I have ego, but I gotta know what to do with it. I gotta tell my ego to, they always say, you can tell your ego to be quiet. I don't need it right now.
I got you.
I want to be in the present moment. I don't need it to bother me.
Very good, excellent.
He usually listens.
Yeah, usually the ego listens. In both of your opinions, what do you think that young couples enter marriage? Do they know who they are? Do they know themselves?
No, I would say that that's the beginning of the problem, is that, first of all, people don't understand what marriage really is.
Okay.
It's about two people becoming one.
Mm-hmm.
And people can become one if they're not one within themselves. You first have to know yourself, understand, you had a journey till you came to the chuppah, you had a journey. And what did that journey teach you? Like, what got created from you in that journey? And when you can understand yourself and really see certain patterns that you're still working through, or certain lenses you're still operating from, and seeing how that will affect a marriage. And if you don't understand what it requires to be able to step in fully into a marriage, those things will come up and will just create a lot of chaos in the marriage.
Right. So what you're saying is that usually young people come into the marriage with what you said before, with their upbringing,
yes,
with
their
what
baggage.
they know,
yeah,
and they are stuck there.
Yeah.
They're like, it's got to be this way.
Yeah.
My mother did it this
Exactly.
way, and this is the way I want it.
Yeah.
You can't become one if you're not coming in with an open mind, understanding that you may see something that you've never seen before.
Exactly. And understanding what it means to create a marriage, what it means to build together with another person. What does that look like? And especially if they've never seen it. Right. Let's say if they just saw in their house two people, their parents, that were just not knowing how to resolve conflict properly. They weren't allowed to say certain things, and everything was like taboo. You can't talk about this and you can't talk about that. So they have no knowledge of really understanding what it means to step in to a marriage where you can have authenticity, where you can look at yourself, own parts of yourself that still need healing. And I think it's a very, very, I feel like in the world right now, that's what's really happening, is that the relationships, that's where the marriages are really it's really falling apart, and we see it, we see it time and time again. And I feel this world is everything like quick, like, can I get what I need? Can I not get what I need? Then I'm out. And that's not, we're not doing it properly.
So what is really the solution? Because you're bringing out a beautiful point, and it's important, and this is the foundation of marriage. Before we get into what marriage is all about, but this is the foundation. Do you guys offer like a certain for young people to, is it like premarital classes or something, so they can know, to open up their mind to this idea that you're not coming in with what you saw, or the Bucher is not coming in what he saw in the yeshiva?
Right. So I think where it starts is identity. That's the baseline. Who are you? What do you want to create? You can't shoot a target you can't see.
Right.
So you first have to understand what do you want? What do you want from life? What do you think marriage is going to give you?
Right.
We have to get to an understanding so that then we can see how they view it, what they look at, how they look at it, and we can work from there to help them, understand what is it really? Where are you missing all the parts? Where can we fill in all the missing links?
Right.
So it's first to have the cognitive understanding of where are you? Where are you?
Right.
In all of this.
What do you think the basics that Bucher is getting married? What does he have in mind? He wants to build a family. He knows what his parents told him. He's young. He comes in and he says, I want a partner and I want to build a family. Is that enough, or you want something more than that?
So there is, first of all, there's that part that a Bucher doesn't always know what's happening. He only knows what he sees. Sometimes he doesn't even understand what it means. It's just his perception of whatever he saw.
Right.
And even furthermore, there's a lot of, even if somebody goes to a Chusen teacher and he explains to them what a woman is and what there's a lot of unknowns for a Bucher to understand. There's a lot of information being given. What the information is saying that you should know that a woman has emotion, you should know to apologize, you should know how to treat certain things that maybe a Bucher didn't know. In yeshiva, he was used to a friend, he was able to do whatever he wants. And a woman, you have to be more sensitive. There's a lot of information, which is just information.
Right.
But there's a missing part here, that the information you're learning, what happens if it triggers you? What happens if the information you got, and you maybe try or didn't try, and all of a sudden you're getting triggered from it?
Yeah.
For example, if you're trying to be a very nice person, you really try, but somehow she didn't feel it, and something triggered inside of her, and she's really, really upset.
Right.
To the extent that you don't understand. What am I doing?
Right.
But so if it triggers you in a way that you feel like, what did I do wrong? So I'm not good enough. Or it triggers any weaknesses inside of you that tells you that you're not doing good. So if you're reacting from that place, then everything that taught you is not going to work for you, because now you're triggered. Now you're upset.
Right.
Now in a place that you want to be there for the other person, you're stuck because what about me? And that's the place where what we want to work with the most. With that place, the emotional maturity to understand what is happening to you. What is your power in the relationship? And you're not going to know what your powers is unless you know your weaknesses, unless you know what is there that you can do in this situation to show up. You can show up for yourself. You have to show up for the other person. So that's the place where it's not just about the information. It's about understanding how do you run your life.
Right. Now, this is you would work with him separate, and you would work with her separate or together.
We work separately. We work separately.
You have male clients, and you work with women.
The female.
But is it couples, or is it? It could be just general.
Both.
So sometimes, if a couple comes to you guys, reaches out to both of you, you would take the wife, and he would take the husband, and he communicates with you, and then you communicate with him, and then there is a time when they come together, or it's like two personal people working on themselves and coming together by themselves.
Completely two different people working
like
separately.
if someone would go to therapy by themselves.
Yes.
Yes.
Like in according to the clients, you guys are not supposed to talk because it's a.
So usually it's about really helping the person himself to be able to understand where he's lacking in the relationship and where he can fill in, like I was saying. Like, think
Right.
about it. It's like if you have a chessboard and if everybody moves the chest in a different direction, that's actually going to benefit the marriage. There's going to be a whole different marriage.
Right.
And unfortunately, a lot of therapists today's days, what's the struggle that I'm hearing is that when you go to therapy, it's almost like a blame game. Like he did that, she did that, and
Right.
very quickly it can escalate, and it doesn't serve the couple.
Right. You're talking about couples therapy, or you're talking about even personal?
I'm talking about
Even
couples.
a couples therapy.
Yeah,
They start
couples.
pointing fingers at
It
each other, and
becomes a
sometimes
point-
it becomes worse than it.
Exactly.
It's worse than when you went in.
So when we can understand what is it we want to create, coming back to our true self, our identity, our baseline, what do I want? What did I see in my life that didn't serve me? What was the marriage that was shown to me that I'm just repeating? And it doesn't serve me. That's not what I want.
Right.
So what do I want? And getting in touch, how would that look? How would that look differently? And really helping the person in the cognitive stage to start opening up what it is they want, where they're struggling, where they have fears, where they have certain triggers that keep on coming back over and over again. And that's where hypnotherapy comes in, because the beauty of hypnotherapy is that we work with 95% of the subconscious mind, because that's where everything is stored in there. We only operate 5% in our conscious.
Wow.
So we humans, we like what we're used to. It's our homeostasis. What we're used to
Right.
is where we go back to, even if it didn't serve us. So it's to help them understand what doesn't serve them, what didn't serve them, and help them find their true self and what it is they want to create, and work with them so that they can move the chess pieces in a better place. And all of a sudden, things change.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk about self-esteem, because we know that this is sometimes the root of all the problems. That if a person has no self-esteem and then tries to do anything and everything without it, he's working very hard. To go back to what you said about hypnosis, can you explain a little bit about what hypnosis is as far as building self-esteem? Like if you're talking to the unconscious mind?
So basically, as she explained, we work with 95% of the subconscious, okay? Because only 5% is conscious. So if your subconscious mind, whatever absorbed from 0 to 8, it's like a sponge, absorbed information.
Right.
And if I absorb that I'm not good enough, I'm not performing enough, because that's what he heard. You know, that's how it gets built from 0 to 8. It's known association, we call it. Everything that's known. And they take it as a fact, as if this is really true, even though it's not true. But they take in all the information at that point as true. Whatever you like or don't like, whether it serves you or not, it becomes the truth to them. So if you heard many times, you're still not doing good, you're not doing good enough, or I can see that you are not so good at this or so good at that, it goes in deep and it stays there. And when you grow up and you want to do that same thing that you heard you're not good at, 95% of your brain would say, no, we don't do that.
Right.
I'm not good at that.
Right.
So what's the point? So 5% of the brain has the motivation, the
Right.
understanding and everything, but 95% blocks it out, doesn't let it in.
Mm-hmm.
And how it works is basically at 8 years old, you build that part of the brain that's called the critical mind.
Mm-hmm.
The critical mind is that part of the brain that tells you that makes sense, that doesn't make sense. Okay? And whenever you have something in the conscious mind that you want to bring in, that critical mind is like a filter. It's like a guard at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, let's see if you are on the list. If you're not on the list, we don't take you in.
Mm-hmm.
And if any information you want to put in your mind to change, they say we don't take you in because I don't recognize it. It's unsafe. It's unfamiliar. It's scary. So that's what happens. So when a person feels, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, I'm not good at communicating, I'm not good at speaking with people, so I have social anxiety, it's not safe to be around people. I don't know what to say. I don't know what, I'm going to be cornered. So he wouldn't know what to do with it. And in a marriage, if you lack self-esteem, then the first thing is, I'm not good enough.
Right.
Instead of being strong, being the man, you become the child.
Right.
And if we can change new associations and give them new suggestions about their power and about where they want to go and realize where it came from, where you learned this, which is really not true anymore, because now as an adult you can see it's not true.
Right.
And we can identify the pieces and put it into the subconscious mind. While that door is open, we open a door while in hypnosis, that critical mind goes to sleep.
Oh.
So we kind of smuggle in information.
Right.
And all of a sudden, in the subconscious mind, there is new information now. So he's not anymore fighting that 5%, because he's working with you, because he also agrees to those information, because now he has new ideas.
Wow.
And that's how we install new ideas. So you got 100%
hypnosis.
of your brain working towards you.
Wow. Now, how many times what's the process like to go for hypnosis to work? Is it?
So I think it's, like people think it's like, oh, some people, like someone called me once and was like, oh, do I just go to sleep and you do your magic?
Right.
I was like, no, it's not magic. This is, you have to work along with me. This is,
You're talking about when he goes home.
yes,
You
this
know,
is
you're
exactly.
trying to rewire the person's brain,
Exactly.
but there's still a lot of work. This is not a magic
Exactly.
pill.
So we create anchors. We
Right.
create, in hypnosis, we create anchors. And those anchors, so when you're conscious in your conscious mind, and let's say that feeling comes up again, as we were talking about, it's not safe, I can't talk, I shy away, my feelings don't matter, whatever it is that self-esteem feels lack. We're able to help the person to connect to it by connecting with that anchor that we put into hypnosis. And then we do certain techniques for them to ground it within and allow that feeling inside their body so that they can now choose differently.
Now, how many times does a person need to go, and what's the process like?
So it's
an
usually,
average?
we say, like, to start, like somebody comes in with a lot of things that they're struggling with, we usually pick on one thing, and we need at least a good 6 sessions to build that in.
Right.
So we can't take all the issues at once. We have to focus on one thing, and we gauge it. So every time we give it usually like 2 weeks in between sessions to build it up inside of them. And then we do it because the thing with the mind loves repetition. The repeating, that's how the mind learns. So I would say at least 6 weeks to focus on one thing. And then we gauge it to see how they're doing, where there's still resistance. And we work on that too. So sometimes after 6 weeks, we see that this issue is a little bit bigger. And we need a little, because that has a lot of more other little details to it. So sometimes we need to do another 6 sessions, but we've seen incredible results. And even within myself, like I've done it, like I became a believer in it because I did it. And I've seen what it did to me. And that's what made me go into it. So it's been really life-changing, and it's been something that I see so much positive changes in others that I'm like, I have such a passion for it, because I really feel like the world is suffering. There's a lot of suffering going on in the world. And if we can understand, we are here to be co-creators with Hashem.
Right.
But how can we become co-creators when we have all these limiting beliefs holding us down? And the beautiful thing about this is that we can come back to our true inner self. So it's all to come back to your truth, who you really were before all these limiting beliefs that was put onto you that was never yours. It was never yours to be. And that's the beautiful circle of the journey of life, is to come back to your true essence, your true Chalek Elokai Mimal. And when you could come back to that truth, you could step in and be unstoppable in every area of your life.
Right.
Is it marriage? Is it wanting to build something? Doesn't matter. The life is endless with opportunities.
Right.
I wanted to come back to a second to
Yeah.
what we spoke about before. We were talking about different types of therapy. So, as Javi mentioned before, sometimes when you go to therapy, and so I wanted to add that part that when she was saying about the blaming. So, what happens is when blaming comes on, and everybody's trying to get their voice across and to saying, "I have this problem with you, and I have this problem with you." What happens then is that a lot of the triggers is I'm not good enough. I'm not doing good. I'm still not doing good. And all these low, we don't have self-esteem.
Right.
And you feel, so what happens is you keep on being re-triggered. Every time you have this battle again in the session,
Right.
even if you get ideas, of course you're getting a lot of ideas and you can work, but the base is re-triggering that feeling of I'm still not good and I don't feel heard and I don't feel understood. So what we do is to help the person build himself. Instead of hearing what the other person needs to do, I'm going to find you what you can do, what your power is,
Right.
to find the power inside of you so everybody can work from a different angle, work from
Right.
what is my power, and to find out that you have so many powers. You can lead the relationship with you. If you don't know what to do, realize that you have the perfect words and the perfect way to create what you want to create and to get what you want to get. You just need to know how.
Right.
And by eliminating your limited beliefs and the weaknesses you have,
The limited
we're giving you the
beliefs-
powers.
The limited beliefs is what we tell ourselves that we're not
Exactly.
good. But when we sit sometimes in these offices, in these places with marriage counselors, is the insults are flying. You get the person is insulting the other person, and the blame is flying back and forth.
Right.
How is that helping for self-esteem? Or
That's what he's saying. That's exactly
it's
what
both.
he's saying.
It's you beating yourself up,
Right.
and
Re-triggering.
and you're hearing it from your partner how unhappy the partner is.
Right. So
follow?
even if it's not direct, but indirect, same, keep on getting the same message again.
Right. That
I'm
you're
still
no
not
good.
going. I'm still not going. I'm not being seen for
Right.
and I'm not being seen for what I am doing.
Right.
So all these triggers keep on coming up, and how do you building yourself up?
Yeah. How important is it for a person to really like themselves so that person could love someone else? So if a person comes into a marriage and did not heal and has so much broken pieces that still needs fixing
Right.
by themselves,
Yeah.
and here they come in and you're expecting that person, first of all, to accept love or to give love.
Right.
That person is not there yet. So
Right.
how do you start when something like that is happening?
Exactly. So I think what's very important to be able to help the client in the cognitive part to understand that everything is a mirror. Everything in life is a mirror. When you go into a relationship and you don't feel good about yourself, you're going to get that mirror back to you.
Right.
And it's so important to be able to understand, how do you view yourself? What are the voices? What are all the voices inside of your head? What is the positive self-talk? What are your negative self-talks? What's happening inside of you, and getting in touch with that? Because so many times, you go into a marriage and you have no idea who you are. There's no connection to self.
Right.
And that's what creates the beginning of all the struggles. It's that they don't understand where they're operating from. So what we do is we help them understand what's happening inside of you. And like you said, to be able to identify that first. So that usually comes up, that when they can look at themselves and say, and we ask those questions, like, how do you view yourself? What is it? How does it look like to have the marriage that you want to have? Are you able to do that for yourself? Because it's all a reflection. So it's really helping them understand and coming back to their true inner self of what they want. And I feel, especially in our community, because we grow up in families that have so many children,
Right.
they lose their sense of self.
Right.
It's just like I'm a number.
Right.
So, and I just have to do what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting married. I got to get married too.
Culture, pressure.
Yeah. So it's
image.
culture, pressure, fitting in a box. Do I check off the lists what my mother wants me to do, or don't I check off the list? It's all about the other. So it's really building rapport with self.
So what I'm hearing from you is that if a person finds that they have a problem in their marriage, before even pointing fingers or starting to blame the other person or having a whole list of things that this is not okay and this is okay with evidence, with everything, first you have to look at yourself. You have to take a good look in the mirror or go to somebody and sit down and figure out first of all, what is your goal? Where are you going? And what kind of energy are you giving? And how do you perceive the other person? So before you don't even know yourself, there's no marriage.
There's no other.
There's nothing else.
Yeah.
First you have to realize who you are.
Yeah.
And really know who you are and what's triggering you, like you said before. What little tiny things smell can trigger somebody. They remember something from a long time ago, whatever the case is. But get a good grip of who you are, and then if there is, there is always, it could be complicated because let's say if one person is on a healing journey, one person is a person who is open, and the other person, the other spouse says, you know what, I'm not going for help. You go. You go help yourself. But what you're saying is there is still light by the end of the tunnel, because if a person says, you know what, my spouse does not want to come for help, or he's fine, but I'm going to go. If you're going, you're fine. That's what I'm hearing from you. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And that's what I feel, the power of when we take control of our own life and we say, what can I do to create what it is I want? Because I have all the power.
Right.
I have all the power. And when we start moving those pieces, we all of a sudden see things around us is going to change. Nothing stays the same.
Right.
Because it has to. Once you change, it's going to reflect on the other. That's just how it works.
Right.
And that's the beauty. When the more we can understand our power, the more we can connect to our true self before all those limiting beliefs, create a new identity, understand what we want, and build from there. Life is endless. Opportunities are endless.
Right.
Love is endless.
Let me ask you, how dangerous is it to expect from a spouse to make you happy?
It's a complete false expectation.
Correct.
Because if you're not happy within, nobody's gonna make you happy. It's impossible. It's just not working. If you don't feel safe within, the other person cannot make you happy. And like we said before, when you find out what triggers you, what drives you, you actually become the driver. Imagine you drive a car and it drives on its own and you don't feel I can make a right or I can make a left or I can stop.
Right.
It looks very scary. So a marriage could be very scary for a person who doesn't know, what am I doing? The car is driving, I can't stop. But if you learn your powers, you learn exactly how to stop, how to start, how to move right, how to move left. That's your power. Nobody can give you that power only inside of you. Like we said before, you can't love another person if you don't love yourself. You don't even know how to do it. All you can do is whatever you do for yourself and you already know how to do it, that's what you can deliver to the other person. Otherwise, you would treat the other person the same way you treat yourself.
Right.
Whether you
Which
avoid or you run or whatever you do, that's how you're gonna treat the other person. And it's being reflected. The other person is gonna show it to you in the mirror, like, hey, I don't feel good.
So what you're saying is, if you're waiting for another person to make you happy, you'll stay hungry.
Absolutely.
That's never going to come.
And it's not only because the other person is not going to want to. I'm talking even if the other person wants and tries.
Yeah, but the dynamic doesn't work.
It's not going to
It's a false belief.
It's a false belief
that if I'll have this,
it's a false expectation.
It's a false expectation.
Yes.
Right. It's not going to stick to you.
Yeah. It's when two healthy people come together and they're both happy on their own, they can come together as one, like you said before, to bring him as one. Let me ask you, Chavy, what's the biggest thing their wives misunderstand about their husbands?
So I think that wives misunderstand their power of speech.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the power of speech. the power, we were given way more speech
Yeah,
than the man. And I think it's important to understand that our words are very, very impactful. And when we can understand that if we have emotions, which we do, we are emotionally wired.
Right.
A woman needs emotional connection way more than a guy does. For her to perform in different kind of ways, she needs emotional connection. But if she understands that her emotions are like waves, and if she doesn't get a control over how those waves work, and to be able to be conscious with how she speaks, how she expresses herself, she can create a lot of damage in the marriage. And that's a very powerful thing, I think, that women have to be able to understand, that their speech has so much power. They can, even though they need something and even though they don't like something, there's a way that when they express it from a place of their power, not from a loss of power,
Right.
but from a place of a power of knowing what it is I want and knowing how to express that, it just changes the whole game.
So what you're saying is you can use your words in both ways. Either you can shut down and not use it, not have communication when something is bothering you, or it could be very, very feisty.
Yes.
They can express themselves too much, and then the other person gets hurt. Is that what you're saying?
I think that it's even more than that. Sometimes they don't know how to articulate, let's say, a feeling. So when they could connect, it all starts with connection. When you could connect to yourself and say, what is it that I need? Okay, I need this and this and this. Okay, my husband didn't give me this and this and this.
But what you're saying is without that, they would personally attack the spouse? They get up to personal attacks.
Exactly.
And that's when it just escalates into another level, because it's a disrespect, and this is how you really feel, and this is what does it mean, and you start going into this whole thing.
Exactly.
So you're saying that women have to be extremely careful with their words.
Yeah, their power of speech.
Interesting. Meir, what do you think? One piece of advice you can give husbands about their wives.
So the best advice I can is to learn how to be a man, to understand what the role of a man is, and what does it mean to be a man. So to accept your role, if you accept your role as a man is a supporter, is the foundation of the home. A man has a lot more powers in the home as the woman, even though it seems otherwise. But when the woman got the clue, he's leading.
Right.
It's she needs him. He doesn't need her, in that sense of being strong or powerful. If he knows that role and if he accepts that role, you can only accept it if he get rid of all the shadows that tell him you're nothing, and understanding and accepting that role with love and understanding, this is my power. I got so much power. I can say anything and everything. I know how, I know when to be quiet. And that power reflects all over the relationship. It creates
So you're
support.
saying that the wife would appreciate that he takes on this role.
Absolutely. They need it.
Right.
They need it for their survival. They need that strong. Otherwise, they become strong.
Right.
And when they become strong, this is usually the dance. They change role because if they don't feel safe, they change role. They become masculine. So you see it in financial. You see it in leading the kids. You see it in the relationship, how they treat each other.
Right.
If he accepts that role and he exercises that role, the more he does it, and it could be a challenge and a process. But this is where a person has to know, this is my goal. This is where I'm going to. I'm creating that strong part of me, that man part of me, and I'm building it. And slowly, if the roles will shift, they shift back. The more he is taking on that responsibility, the more he knows how to be strong. He can become weak in a time of support just because he got offended right now.
Right.
Then he can't be there for her because he just became wounded. So he has to know his powers and keep even if he needs something, keep it for the right time, for the right moment. And that's what a powerful man does. He knows exactly what and when to do. And even if he didn't do it the right way, he knows how to get it back.
Right. And that's what you're trying to do, help people. And with hypnosis, and other types of coaching or whatever. You're trying to give him some clarity to know his position, to know
Exactly.
who he is.
Yeah, so you're saying that there's two parts in the session. There's the cognitive part before,
Right.
and there's the hypnosis. Because what we are trying to create is, first of all, the person should know, where do I want to go, right?
Right.
You want to know your target. What are you
Right.
aiming for? Because if you don't know that, then you're completely
Right.
lost. So you
Right.
first want to get a base. This is where I'm heading to, some kind of a plan. And
Right.
then we make sure that the 95% is not in your way, is helping you.
Right.
But if a person doesn't do, he thinks it's like a magic, and he doesn't do the 5%, then nothing is gonna move.
Right.
So it's a combination of both.
Yeah. Let's talk about divorce. Is there ever a time to quit the marriage?
Yes, I do think that there is a time if somebody is abusive.
Right.
You know, if there's real toxicity, you know what I mean to say, I do believe, but I do think that it is definitely people are going out way too soon. Because they don't have clarity what they came here to create.
Right.
We came here to create a Mikdash Ma'at, a place for Hashem. I mean, literally, it's two people coming from complete different worlds and creating oneness with each other.
Right.
It's a miraculous gift that we're able to create this in this world. And I think, unfortunately, people don't understand, first of all, what they came to create.
Right.
So it starts there.
Right.
If you don't understand what you're creating, you're like, and it gets hard, I'm out of here.
Right. So what you're saying is very profound. The foundation of Yiddishkeit is that we have al chaylik alakayim amal. The foundation is to connect to Hashem. Ladavka boy, that's what it is. If someone asks you, what is Yiddishkeit all about? There's one goal and one goal only. Not buy houses and not have a good time and not go on vacation. It's all good. It's all nice. But a Ladavka boy is the Yesod.
Yeah.
To connect to Hashem. Going in with that idea that you have to connect, that this is your goal, now this changes the entire perspective.
Absolutely.
You become a giver instead of a taker. Because most people, when they go in, they say, what is this in for me? And what you're saying is, first know the foundation of what this is all about.
Exactly.
And this is a tremendous gift, because the clarity of this, a lot of problems fall away when you know this.
Absolutely.
And you have the eye on the ball.
Yeah.
And you stick to that. Now you're coming in and saying, okay, now I want to work on myself also. Let's see if we can become one.
How do I get there?
Yeah.
How do I get there?
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I think that's what we're trying to help Bukharim and girls to understand.
Right. That this is just not like, I want a partner. Right. I want a companion.
Right.
And I want a house. And I want to be my own person.
Right.
And I want to have a good time. And it's all good. There's nothing wrong with that. But really, what's behind it? Right. Because if you don't have that goal, and it's all about me, and I want to take, then you're a hungry ghost.
That's it. That's it.
Oh,
and that's what our souls came here to do. Yeah. And that's the gift, that we should take this opportunity and choose to be awake.
Right.
Choose to be awake here in this 3D reality. What are we here to create?
Right. It's amazing stuff. Now, according to what you're saying, what we're discussing over here, it is not possible for a spouse to make you miserable.
No.
If you are miserable, you have to take responsibility for yourself.
Exactly. They can make it hard for you, and that's okay to acknowledge. I can acknowledge that I have an emotion coming up. I can acknowledge that I feel a certain feeling. I feel not good on how I'm being treated. And sometimes even I can feel it's not fair, but I can always come back to me and understand, what is it that really happened? What does it tell me? Right. Because nobody can tell me. If somebody laughs about me having a blue hat and I don't have a blue hat, nothing is going to happen. I don't have it. If somebody tells me, you're not good. You're not doing it well. I ask you so many times and you're not doing it, and I can't believe it. If I take it as the message as I failed, that's me telling it to myself. But if I know I didn't fail,
Right.
if I know that even if I missed an opportunity, I can fix it, I'm okay, I'm good,
Right.
then nothing happens. It's basically how do I take what comes up against me?
Right.
I wanted to add to what you were saying about divorce. When even though there's a time to get divorced, like you were saying, Javi was saying that when there's significant abuse and mistreating in a very horrible way, but if you start working before, when a person waits for that, and sometimes it could happen that a man or woman will be so miserable that they change, they become monsters because they feel so horrible about themselves, about everything, and they just
You almost can't recognize them.
exactly. So I think that's why I think it starts earlier. If you don't wait that long, people wait for that long, and then they point the finger and say, "See,
He's a monster."
you see how crazy he or she is." If you wait before, when everything was still calm, when you see things are happening, start there. Start there.
Yeah.
And not only that, if that person start changing, he brings calmness. If, for example, I'm going to talk from a man's point of view. If he brings in calmness to the home, change. It's going to be a challenge because nobody's going to believe him. Oh, what is this? So it's going to be a challenge, and he's going to be challenged. They always say, others who don't say, when he wants to change, the outsider comes more, and he usually gets challenged. Hashem wants to see, do you really mean it? And you're going to be challenged. And the person sometimes thinks like, I don't understand. I'm trying to be good. Why are you challenging? Why are you making it harder on me? But that's a part of the thing. You want to grow.
Right.
I'm going to have to challenge you to see if you're serious about it.
Yeah.
Because you can only grow if you're serious. If the first challenge comes and you bounce, you're not serious. So you have to really take it with all seriousness in the relationship. And you being challenged and you stay, it's like that means moving a chessboard. You never know whichever stage in the relationship it is. You never know unless you try. People think I'm giving up, it's not going to happen. But you never know unless you try to move those pieces with all seriousness and full commitment. And you'll be surprised what's going to come your way. You'll be really shocked and surprised how the other person starts feeling calm, relaxed. All of a sudden, they're nice to you.
Yeah. So in your experience with couples that you are talking in private and together, do you find that most people are good people? Most people want shulam, want peace. It's just that we don't see it, But you would say that there are people who some people like machloikas, they want to fight, and they're bad, evil people, or most people is just a communication issue.
I think a lot of people come in with their broken inner child.
Mm-hmm.
So they're seeing it through their pain. And that's usually what's happening, is that you have they're not bad, they're just like two little children fighting with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when usually that happens, there's no self present. There's nobody present. There's two little kids just fighting with each other.
Yeah.
So I think everybody's good. Everybody's good. Nobody means to be bad, but when you have two little children, yeah, then you need a Rebbe to come tell you, the guy in their corner and the guy in a corner.
Right.
It's like, that's what's happening.
Yeah. Now, what would you say to a couple who is living together for fear, for comfort, for social pressure? What would you say to a person like that?
You mean if they are living together for a long time and they're not doing anything about it? I would say you're missing out on the opportunity. You're totally missing out. You never know how great your life could be.
Wow.
You're just not using the opportunity Hashem gave you. You're making out of it as a survival mode. You're surviving it.
Yeah. You're
And
robbing
you're
yourself from a good life.
Exactly. You're making the best out of the situation, but you're robbing yourself of the life. If you try to go up those steps and use your powers, you'll be surprised. You're gonna get whatever you're gonna put into the marriage it's like a stock. It's gonna double and triple to you. And the good news is this is a stock that never crashes. Whatever you put in comes back at you with a lot of dividends.
How does a lovely marriage look for a person who says, you know what, maybe I want to start looking into this. Let me see. Let me think. Let me maybe analyze myself or go for help. Give him a picture of what a lovely marriage can look like?
So the first thing is it's very peaceful, extremely peaceful. You feel safe because you feel comfort. You feel that whatever's gonna happen, I'll figure it out. You have that very relaxed place. Even though today it's a little bit chaotic, something
Yeah.
happened. There's always chaotic situation. A busy Erev Shabbos, a busy Chasana season, money stresses. There are always these stresses.
Yeah.
And those stresses could create, a harsh word, something that could create. But you always know, whatever happens, I already know my way. You figured it out. And that safety, that calmness, that relaxation, that's not a house anymore. It's a home.
Right.
That's priceless.
Now, as in also that person could share and be comfortable and feel, you can be open, you can be yourself. You don't have to walk around with a mask.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
just
That
perform.
alone is priceless.
It's
That's
menichas hanefesh.
menichas hanefesh, exactly.
And this could be accomplished. People live like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Living with the mask it's like we say, like a little child when he has to hold a secret.
Yeah.
It's the most painful and hard
Painful
thing for
thing,
him.
yeah.
Why? Because that secret is a weight on his shoulders. It weighs
course.
tons.
Right.
And you exhausted. It really complicates your life.
Right.
When a person, even an adult, when you live with this mask and the untruth, every one of them weighs on you.
Right.
And it just makes your life horrible.
Right.
Every day it's so hard.
You're punishing
When you
yourself by
exactly.
not doing something what you're supposed to do, by not digging in. It could hurt, could be excruciating at points.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to do this, you're missing out on a gift that is out there.
Yes, and which brings me to a point that what's homeostasis? That's we always want to be the same, and that's a part of Hashem's creation in the world. It's a powerful thing. We don't have to think about our blood pressure or about our heart to beat or about how to breathe. It goes automatic. There's a lot of things. Even when you stumble on a piece of wood, we don't have to think: do I want to fall or do I not want to fall? It's an automatic reaction. That's the power of the subconscious mind that Hashem created. It's a lot of things are automatic. You don't have to think. This is the tricky part. When somebody gets you angry, you don't take a moment and think, should I get angry? Should I not get? Oh, you know what? I should. You don't do that. Otherwise, it would be different. It's automatic.
Yeah.
You get angry. You go to the worst scenario when you get scared or anything like that. That's homeostasis. It makes you to stay the same. So people tend to go to those places because it's a safe zone. It's safe.
Yeah.
And it's even more. If a person would date someone, they would rather pick the unhealthy person than the healthy person. Why? Because it's familiar to them. It's a safe zone.
Right.
Like somebody would go sleep in a bed that he knows, even if it's not so comfortable, rather to go into a new bed or a different bed.
Right.
It's unknown.
Right.
And that's what people keep on doing. They stay in the safe zone. That's why they don't want to take these opportunities, because it's a real phenomenon. It's something real. Everything new feels unsafe, unfamiliar. It's scary sometimes.
Right.
And that's what keeps people stay small, stay safe. But really, and this is what we try to do, get the person, wake people up and get them to feel safe within themselves. And slowly bring them up to feel safe with this change and that change and see the beauty of it.
Right.
And go more and go more. Don't stop.
Right.
You can why stay the same and small if you can grow bigger?
Wow. Amazing stuff. What is love? Can you define the word love?
Yeah, I would say love is unconditional.
Mm-hmm.
Love is unconditional. There's no conditions. I don't love you because you did this or because you didn't do this. I love you because I love you, because of you.
And how do you develop that in a marriage?
By developing yourself.
By you loving yourself,
Yes.
you become a lover to the world.
Yes.
You love Hashem.
Yes.
You love people.
You love your spouse.
You're positive.
And even the imperfections in your spouse, you're able to see that's not who they really are. You could see that that's just an effect because of something that they experienced, and you're able to connect to their essence. That's love. Love is oneness. Love is just being oneness with another human being.
Right. Now, love is unconditional. Love is to children as well.
Absolutely.
Because people love their children.
Absolutely.
What about those people who don't show love to the children? I mean, the nature is to have unconditional love.
So I think usually it comes from the way they were treated. It's unfortunately you see a lot of generational trauma.
Yeah.
How does this generational trauma begin? It's, I think a lot of it is stemming from the war.
Yeah.
You know,
But what you're saying is that if someone does not love their children, that is a clear sign that he doesn't love himself. Period.
absolutely,
That's where it
absolutely,
starts and that's where it
absolutely,
ends. There's-
absolutely.
It's not that Hashem didn't create it that you don't love your children.
No,
The love is there.
the love
The
is there.
unconditional love is there.
Yeah, you just
It-
didn't develop it
You
within
just
yourself.
develop within yourself. So again, we're coming back to the same thing. The
all about
foundation
the
is
self.
it's all about the self. It has zero to do with the spouse. Zero
Absolutely.
to do with another person. This is including family and friends. And
Everybody.
is this true in business also? That if a person finds himself in business to see, relationships, if he has fallouts with this person and that person, it's a focus. The focus always has to come back
Yeah,
to
it's
you.
usually always reflected. This is how this world works. Everything you're seeing outside, if you don't like what you're seeing, you have to change it within.
Right. So it's very refreshing because this is something that you can control.
Yes,
Another person you can.
that's it.
So let's say, give me any challenge. If I will turn inside, then I will get out of it alive.
Yes,
But as long as your eyes are looking outside and you're trying to change the environment, you're trying to change the people, you will not succeed.
no,
It brings you back to what I said before. Even in partners, when a person didn't work on himself, he would attract a partner that would treat him the way he's treating himself.
Right.
And this is where people don't realize if you are the way you're treating yourself, that's what you're going to attract, and you can attract differently. You can see in many businesses, some people have different clients than the other one. Some people would have clients would always trouble them, not pay or whatever.
Yeah.
And other people have no problem.
Right.
They don't even have to do anything about it. It's how they feel inside. If they feel worthy to get paid,
Right.
they usually get paid. No, the other person doesn't even get this energy in the audacity not to pay you.
Right.
And that's usually a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
And
And it comes from an inner vibe that you give
Yes,
out. That
yes.
you're not accepting anything less than.
exactly, it usually shines through to the other
Right.
person. It's when you communicate with partners in a different way.
Wow.
Everything is different.
How important is the emotional connection between a couple so it can trickle into physical? That means if there's no emotional connection, if a person is just not working on themselves and only, trying to be a taker, how is that affecting the physical attraction between them or the intimacy?
so I think it definitely would affect them very greatly, because that's the beauty of marriage. People that are just with each other just to have a good time, it falls apart very quickly. It's
Right.
not, there's no foundation, there's no nothing.
That's lust? You would call that
yeah,
lust?
yeah, that's absolutely lust. And that, that comes from a void. It comes from a void. Usually somebody doing that is feeling something that is broken inside of him and is trying to get it. And that's being a taker. And when you're coming from the energy of being a taker, you don't get fulfilled. There's no
Right.
fulfilledness over there. It's
Right.
empty. And then you just keep on getting more and more hungry because there's a void that you're trying to fill.
And also, you're not getting it back from the spouse.
Exactly.
It's just not
Exactly.
working. The
It's not
dynamic is not working. So
Exactly.
what you're saying is that first emotional connection is important, and then the physical connection comes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It starts definitely with the emotional.
What destroys a marriage the most? I mean, between all the people you spoke to and the experience that you have, where do you see is the biggest destruction for a marriage?
I think the biggest destruction is when the person is starting to give up. Because when a person is starting to give up, that's when he loses the whatever energy he did have until now, whatever
Right.
investment he had until now,
Right, or hope.
whatever hope he had, as soon as he starts having those feelings, oh my God, this is not working. I got to do something about it. I'm thinking of leaving. I'm thinking, even if it's in his mind, even if in his mind, for some people have in his mind all their life, or all the years.
Yeah.
But that shift in your mind,
It's poison.
it's a poison in your mind that poisons you slowly, and you always have that doubt, and you're not invested anymore. And as soon as you lose that investment, and it works on both sides, that's basically whatever happens after that is just you just growing apart and falling apart.
Wow. What do you think? What's the most destroying?
So I think again, understanding what your role is, the responsibility of understanding what are you here for? What did you come here to do?
Right.
I feel like that's where it starts. Really, that's where it starts. And I feel like that's why we see so many marriages fall apart so quickly. Like you see people getting married, you never saw people getting married, and then 2 months later, they're not married anymore.
2 months.
And sometimes even less. Sometimes you see people are married like for a couple of weeks and they're not married anymore. And like, how does that make any sense? What did you think you're coming here to do? Like, just go under the chuppah and wear a gorgeous dress and get a ring and get all the, like, what did you really come here to do? So it's definitely not understanding the responsibility of the role that you came here to be in.
Wow. I mean, so education is missing, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it's very big part of education. I feel a lot as it's very much taught in a way, this is what we do. There's no real clarity of why do we do this? What is this? Well, why did I come here to do this? Understanding who you are, understanding your power, understanding that you're literally a piece of Hashem, like understanding all of this.
What do you think between the couples that you saw? Are they, on an average, are they communicating honestly? The couples between each other, are they telling the truth?
So I think when the couples don't feel safe with each other, when they're struggling, it's impossible to say the truth. They just they're not saying the whole truth. They're not
Right.
saying, they live
Right.
as separate as possible. It's called surviving. When you survive, you have all your antennas up, and what can I say, what can I not say? And a lot of them avoid, especially in men, they avoid the conversation. Most of the time. I mean, you see it otherwise also, that the women are more quiet and the husband wants more of the relationship. Different dynamics, different right brain, left brain, so many different ways in Tchenes HaNefesh people have.
Right.
But in generally, the men would be the one who would run away and try to avoid the conversation and try to
Right.
not even to talk about it. So we don't have to get even to the place that I need to say the truth and not say the truth.
Right. So if the couples don't have open communication, sometimes you see this in intimacy. They're not gonna tell the other. They're not gonna discuss it. They're afraid to discuss it. That means they're not comfortable with each other, or they're not safe. How do you deal with that?
So I think it stems from childhood. I really feel it stems from childhood because a lot of people are getting married just because their mother said it's good, their father said it's good, and a lot of times they want something else. So if you can't be truth with yourself, if you can't say your truth, mommy, I need this type of girl.
Right.
I need this type of boy. I'm not that person. I'm not that person that you're trying to put
Right.
onto me. I'm somebody else.
Right.
So it starts from being able to be honest with what you want and what it is you're looking for. And you're not just trying to fill somebody else's expectation.
Right.
You're able to show up for what it is you want. And that's really it starts. Because if a kid, a child, an adult, they're supposed to be an adult, comes into a relationship and they're, feeling like, oh, I didn't really want this.
Right.
Now I don't feel safe to share what I like, what I don't like.
Right.
So they're starting already on a place where they were in truth with themselves, So I think it starts even before marriage.
What you're saying is that the parents should know who they are. the parents should know
And to
themselves
accept
first.
and to accept them
And
for who
when
they are.
make the decision
Yeah.
of moving forward with the shidduch, what they need to do is to really get what's good for the child. But that can also, again, only happen if the parent is okay with themselves.
Right.
Then you can teach your child to be okay with themselves, and then you're not getting into these problems. But if the parent was not working on themselves, was hiding all the time, and they have an image, and they have a community, and they have neighbors, and they want to make a shidduch, and they do this to their child, now the child walks into this marriage, and the communication is not, it will never be there. These are two different people from two different angles, and there's nothing to write home about.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's why we have such a passion to help individuals also to really get to know their true self.
It's very important for parents. You see, I always say this, that when you talk about, it starts by parenting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does, it starts when the children are very little.
Yeah.
Because, young people get married and then they go sit in therapy for the next 20 years, for the past 20 years. But it's got to stop someplace.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
the parents really have to get a grip
Yeah.
of what life is all about.
Exactly. I think also to be able to, everything is perception. We think Hashem gives us these beautiful neshamas to bring down in this world, and then we want to control it.
Right.
That's where it starts. We want to control it when it's not our position to control. They all have separate journeys. And when we can allow them to flourish with what their soul came here to be. And it's not going to, it might not look the way your mother looked and your father looked and your sister looked, but when you're trying to impose that onto your child, you're robbing him from his life.
Yeah.
So
Children are not even ours.
exactly.
These are gifts from Hashem.
That's it.
And I always say this, that when a child is 20 years old or whatever, it's not a report card. It's not, this is what I, look, you show, this is what I did. It has nothing to do with you. You have to do your job. You have to know yourself. You have to love yourself and raise these children. But to have them as the report cards, like, oh, this is what you accomplished, this is yours, the judging and all this stuff, this is all just recipes for disaster.
Yeah, that's again coming back to being a taker.
Yeah,
instead
of
of a
course.
giver.
Of course.
All you can do as a parent is stay out of the way. Don't let them grow and don't be in their way.
Yeah.
That's the best thing you can do.
Right.
Because you're allowing them to be. And actually, this is what grows into when you want a child to know themselves, to have a self.
Right.
How can they have a self if you're robbing them from themselves? You keep on telling them, I'm telling you what to do. I'm telling you how to be. So you keep on telling them, don't be yourself, be somebody else. And then all of a sudden they have to learn self. Of course, they have no clue what to do.
Right.
So
It's the biggest
of course,
gift.
we want to influence them. We want to show them the
Right.
way. We want to
be a role
kind of
model.
a role model. But if I rob them from being from knowing what their self is, I'm like, shh, don't. We don't talk that. We don't say that.
Right.
And sometimes you will get even a smack if you mention something. That's totally like, okay, I can't be myself. So that's where kids have this that's what the sponge between 0 and 8 absorbs. I can't exist. I'm just a robot. And then, of course they can't change.
It's the greatest gift that you can give your kids is themselves.
Exactly.
The greatest gift.
Yeah.
It's just, this is nachas. I mean, nachas for everybody is different. But for some people, nachas is, if you'll do whatever if you're going to feed me, that's going to be my nachas. But the greatest gift is if you can give your child a self.
And exactly. And then the world, you look around and you see so much deception. And I really feel that's where it's all coming from. Deception is stemmed when you can't really find your true inner self. So you're constantly wearing masks and trying to fill roles that is not who you are.
Right. You think most couples wait too long till it's a little bit late? You would recommend they come. When should a person decide, you know what? I like this couple that I see over here. I want to check him out. When should he decide that, you know what, maybe we go see them?
I say when you finally decide that you want a better life, when you actually want to give yourself the gift of a better life. Because why people push off is, number one, they don't. Sometimes people are so low, they think like, oh, I'm stuck here. I have no chances, until it goes so bad and they want to go to divorce. They just feel like, wow, I'm stuck here. They pity themselves for getting into that situation.
Let it be this way. They're okay.
Right.
They're
So
making...
people make a shulam out of it. If people understand that whatever your situation is, go figure it out. Start exploring. You have so many years to live together. Don't cheat yourself out of a good life. Go explore it. You see it doesn't work for you. You start feeling uncomfortable. You waited a little while and you see it's not changing and it's starting to bug you inside. Go fishing. Go look for something good.
Right.
Come discuss it and get your powers out and start moving the pieces on the chessboard, and you'll be surprised what you're gonna get back. It's limitless.
Why do we ignore red flags? We see red flags all over. Young people, middle-aged people, but we have a tendency to ignore it.
Yeah, because it comes back to what we're familiar. If we were familiar with being treated a certain way, we are going to attract that again, just because it's our familiar. So I think that's also a very important thing, to be able to work on self-development, to understand, who am I? What are parts of me that are broken inside? What are parts of me that I would want to fill so that I could show up differently? And when we don't get in touch with those parts, then what happens is those parts keep getting reflected to us, and then we're like, oh, that's my missing part. And then we repeat the same cycle over and over again.
Right. I want to add even more. The people are afraid of the unknown, right? Like Javi said.
Yeah.
People are afraid of the unknown, out of the changes. So when you find out that you kind of got stuck somewhere that you didn't want to, whether it's a relationship or sometimes it's a child, like people give up on a child. They're like, okay, he's a defect or something, instead of understanding that he's challenged in a way that he needs support, and you can give it to him. You can. It's like a plant. How are you going to treat him? This is how it's going to grow up. If you give up on him. So I think people are afraid of what's coming. They're afraid of the change, and so it's between not believing that that there's options are there and that you're capable, and it's between the other part of being afraid of the change. And like Javi said before, when you recognize the trigger inside of you that's familiar.
Right.
So like I have a lot of times when people come to me, and it's interesting, it always comes up that this and this child I'm not getting along with. And after going into it, you realize that this child reminds me of me.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this challenging child is usually the one who reminds you of you if you really look into it, because he triggers all the stuff inside of you, and you realize, oh my goodness, he's doing the same thing I'm doing. And a lot of people sometimes come into therapy then when they see the child doing the same thing, so they have a kind of a reflection from a little kid, and they're like, ooh, now I can see what I look like.
Yeah. It's interesting stuff. But let me ask you, Meir, if someone comes to you and it says, it's impossible to make my wife happy, what do you say to a person like that?
Let's try to find out, what do you do to make her happy? Do you even know what she needs to be happy? Because there's a very interesting thing that people make you happy by what they think that you're gonna make you happy. It's a lot of times if you don't
projection, right? Like something,
so I think I like this and this. I'm gonna give it to you, but they're not really understanding that person doesn't really like that.
It's like the five. What are the love languages?
Right. So it's very important to know each other. You want to make the person happy. What did they say? So let's say, and it happens in both sides of the coin on the couples. Somebody is telling you, I really didn't appreciate A, B, and C. And the first thing the person would say, I don't understand. I did all these things for you. Everything I did. And you're going to complain? Like, what happens? They're not seeing it the way it is. They're seeing it through, again, now I have a wound. Now I tried so hard and I can't make you happy. Now I'm not good enough. And you go into that direction. But if you really understand, so what is it? You look at all the stuff you did and what you didn't do, and you realize that one thing you didn't do overpowers everything you did. So the meaning of it, even if you did 20 things and one thing not, the meaning of this one thing is more important. So you learn it. You learn it. You get it into your head. Okay, this is what she likes. And you find out these things. And as you grow, it becomes easier because you right away know this is important, this is not. There's the cake and there's the icing on the cake, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So again, you were saying is you focus on that person to see
why do you
what's
think
his role
she
in
didn't
this?
appreciate,
Right.
like to understand what is his powers, what does he really thinks. And a lot of times people actually know inside. Once, we have like different ways we ask questions to pinpoint things,
Right.
to take apart things, and
Right.
people are like, ooh, I didn't think of that.
Right.
So to take apart things, to understand, like, what were you thinking? What do you think she's not happy about? And a lot of times, if you go in the process, you take it apart, you yourself can see
Find out very well
what happened and why Taka. But
Right.
as soon as you go into that trigger inside of you, then you're just taken over by that trigger. You can't even think about the other person.
Right.
That's where it escalates because you're
Right.
responding towards that through that trigger.
Right. Now, Javi, what would you say if someone comes in and says, my husband doesn't understand me?
So I usually would say usually I would try to understand how that looks. What does it look for you?
Yeah.
Because again, it's all coming back to self.
Yeah.
What does it look for you? What is it telling you? How does that feel for you? And how would you want it to look different? It's to understand what is, and then we go through there. What's in your power to create that difference?
Right.
And that's what it comes back to. It's always about exploring our options.
And you're trying to make him rethink the way they thought before.
It's about understanding their power. It's not so much about rethinking. It's about, what is your power? Don't think you're a victim in this place. Don't think somebody else has to give you something. You can get it yourself. Maybe you just have to ask. Maybe you don't know how to ask.
Identifying her role.
Exactly.
So she should be...
So she can step into it. She can understand first of all, what it is she needs, how that would look like, and how she can get it for herself.
So if a person feels not understood, there's self-esteem, a little bit of self-esteem issue over there?
Yeah, so a lot of times what happens is that women don't know how to articulate their feeling. They go right away into the reactive place. So when you're going into the reactive place, you're giving the wrong message. It's like somebody telling you, you didn't do this, or can you please do this? Right? It's between being reactive and being able to ask what you need from your power. So I think it's very important to help them understand where they're still being reactive and how they can learn to connect to their need from a more empowered place.
Right. What's your advice for couples who have children, grown children, but they forget to focus on themselves? They focus on the children, they focus on the house. How important is it to have some me time between the two of them?
So I would say it's very important because, as we keep on saying, it starts with yourself.
Right.
If you are empty, you can't really you have nothing to give.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important for couples. Some couples need more, some people need less. It has to be discussed and understood, because the man would think, I don't need to talk, the woman would think I need, and vice versa.
Right.
So to discuss whether it's once a week or twice a week or 3 times a week, to have a long time, and it's very easy to make it in the rush of the life today, which is so rushing. You get up, you run, you run into bed,
and this and that,
but it's if you really are conscious about it and you be mindful, you set aside a time to just check in with each other, talk with each other, go out a little bit. Not always has to be something crazy big.
Yeah.
Again, it depends on the expectation of the people. But some people, just few minutes of connection is already very, very much. But the other person wants to be understood. If a woman had a hard day with the kids, you can give her the opportunity to unload and to regain composure, so she goes to sleep as a mensch, so she can get up as a mensch. And the same thing is vice versa. If the husband had a hard day, by doing that, you're refilling each other.
Right. It's very important. How much do women appreciate if you take them out once a week, or these little tiny gestures that people do.
Yeah, so I definitely think women like to be chosen and women like to feel wanted. That's a very big need for women. And, you know, a man could sometimes get very busy with responsibilities and work
Life.
and life, and then there's children. So when the man says, you know, for the wife, put something on nice, I want to take you out and treat you, that can create an incredible good feeling for the wife. And the power of that can really create a lot of love for them, for each other. Because a good, healthy man wants to be the leader. And the woman wants to be the feminine, the one that's being chosen.
Right.
So when he can do that, she definitely feels very, very seen and loved by him. So it's definitely especially she's busy with his children and there's so much going on, and it gives her also space to feel, oh, now I can go and get dressed and feel beautiful and be with my husband, and he wants to be with me. So it definitely can spark a very good dynamic between them.
Wow, it's beautiful advice.
Yeah.
Good advice. What we learned today is that marriage is about two individuals who are willing to grow, and they're willing to take responsibility for themselves, not point fingers at each other, and they want to build something meaningful together. Like we said before, like Amigdash Ma'at, we're here for a purpose. It's a very short life, and we want to make the best out of it. So I really want to thank you both for joining and coming in, and it was a pleasure. It was a beautiful conversation, and you're doing God's work. You're doing beautiful, beautiful work.
Thank you. Indeed, it was a beautiful conversation, and thanks for having us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
very
so much.
Thank you.
It
Thank
was
you.
really
Excellent.
an honor. Thank
you.
you.